Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to First Issue Tech. My name is Kyle T, and I'm joined by Mr. Courtney. Mission number 10.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Wow, Mr. Kyle, you got a crowd cheering for you.
Hey man, you just call me Mr. Worldwide.
Oh, okay. You better be careful shouting that out. A shout out to Pitbull down in Miami, because you know how we love that Chico.
Mm-hmm. Love the South Florida weather, South Florida in general. You know.
Yeah. Every day above ground is another day. Just want to say how blessed we are to be here. We thank all of you for joining us. And yes, Kyle, you are 100% correct. That South Florida weather is almost unmatched. Until, of course, you go somewhere else and you're like, wow, this is nice.
Alright, man. It's
I'm hoping to jump on a boat, take a 30-minute drive, or sail, or boat ride, whatever they call those things, and hit the Bahamas and go to those pink sand beaches. I want to see it for myself. I want to see that water. I want to see if that water looks so much different than the water we have here at some of our beaches. And I'm not really a beach goer. I don't like the beach because there's no shade. And you say, oh, well, but you know, you a dark-skinned brother. So what? Just because I'm from the tropics don't mean I like the tropics. I want some shade and a chair, not the sun and some sand.
I was gonna say, man, I'm chill with the sun. It's a sand. Because it doesn't matter, man. As soon as you put on flip-flops and nothing, it gets everywhere. There's no getting it out.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I can swim. That is not a stereotype that fits me. I am not a fan of watermelon, but I do love some chicken.
Man, everyone loves chicken. Chicken
is universal.
Unless you're vegan,
you know,
yeah.
When you talk stereotypes, oh, black man love chicken and watermelon. Nah, this one doesn't like watermelon like that. So,
man, I'll tell you what, you're the only... I was going back and listen to the other episodes. You're the only brother I know that's ever tried quiche and made it.
Oh, hey, it was good, man.
That's one up on me, man. That's a dish too white for me. Nah, it's too white. I just don't like it. That's too much egg.
Nah, it was good. I was surprised. I was like, whoa. I think I might make it again, as a matter of fact.
Now, there was one quiche that I did like, but it was mostly because someone, when they made it, it basically came out to an omelet, and it was cheese and bacon. I was like, I mean, it's kind of hard not to like a cheese and bacon pie. Or with egg, cheese, and bacon.
I think something like that would be a little hard to enjoy. I mean, hard to not enjoy.
Right, but all the traditional, the mushroom and spinach and stuff, I'm like, doesn't really bowl together. Like, put it together in something else. Anyway, we're getting too far off topic.
What do we have on the show today?
Well, you know, as if you check news, because this is the third time I've seen it up, so I feel we had to bring it up. There's more rumors turning around. T-Mobile is looking to merge. They are hot and heavy. They've got a lot of market share. They've got a lot of subscribers. They're now number 3 of the top 4, and they're looking to merge. Who could they be looking to merge with, and how soon can we see that? We'll go over that in a minute. Bam, bringing it over to a couple days ago, the Samsung Galaxy S8, the Fireball 8, hopefully not Fireball. They dropped, and just like anything else that came out, there's a few little early adopter woes, a few little issues. We'll go over that into some detail. We're
going to talk about AT&T lying to customers. Don't forget that one. AT&T, come on, guys. We're going to touch on that.
Don't be fooled.
That's right. And then we're going to touch on Uber, the devil, Apple's brother, distant cousin, something, but the devil in tech. I'm sorry, that's what Uber is. Uber is the devil in tech right now. So let's get started.
Very interesting
let's
company.
Dive in and see. Let's tell these people what we found out, what we know, what we don't know, what we want to talk about, what we'd like to know.
Man, I think the show would be more interesting if we did it on what we don't know, because damn, there's a whole lot I don't know. But hey, we're about to find out. We'll share some knowledge. If you know anything about the topics that we don't know, feel free to comment, talk to us. We'll have links somewhere on the site. We definitely appreciate you stopping by. So first things first is, like I said, this is the third time I've seen it, and apparently, obviously, it's been in the works for a while, but T-Mobile is looking to merge, and it looks like the 3 main candidates would be Dish TV, satellite dish, that company, Comcast, or maybe even Sprint.
I think, personally, Sprint would be the better go, because it will give Sprint and T-Mobile the subscriber base, or the power, it'll be equal to Verizon or AT&T, because they were both, that'll put them at over 140 million subscribers, and it will say, yo, AT&T, Verizon, we are not going anywhere, and because of this merger, we're going to make our prices even lower. Let's go.
In a fantasy world, that would be great, of course.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, hopefully they don't. If something like that did happen, they wouldn't raise their prices to be equal to Verizon or AT&T's because it would totally defeat the purpose of
what T-Mobile's been doing because
of everything. Yeah, over these last 3 years since the AT&T failure to acquire them, that failed acquisition. I mean, T-Mobile right now because of the bid that you were going to mention. Which is over in a couple of days. T-Mobile won the most out of all the everyone else bidding on spectrum. So
low frequency spectrum too.
Yeah,
more penetration.
And we all know that penetration is good if it's going in the right place.
Exactly, man. I want to be able to use. I want to be in a warehouse and still getting that 5G speed.
What G?
4G LTE.
Oh, okay, yeah. We're still in the 4G era right now. We're about to do an enhanced 4G, which every carrier is about to enhance their 4G network to.
Big time. So you really think the Sprint would do quite well for them?
I think it would. It might not be on the outside. It may not look like it's the best thing for consumers, but I think if it's done right, it could be. It could very well be the best thing for consumers. Going to Comcast won't. I don't think that will work because Comcast has no problem saying, you know what, we're cutting all this overhead. You're done. We don't need you guys because we can run it this way and we can run it that way. We've been working on the back end with Verizon for so long. We've already got this part started. So now we just want the name and your customers. You know?
I was about to say because I could have sworn we just talked about something called Xfinity Mobile with Verizon.
Yes, sir.
So I don't really see how Comcast would really want to butt heads. Granted, this would be a better venture for Comcast than Xfinity Mobile. Just saying what I believe.
Standard wireless service.
Yes, something already established would be nice. That leaves the only outlier. I mean, obviously, I think personally it seems like a no-brainer because obviously Verizon is delving into landline internet service. They've been doing it for years. Home phone service. AT&T does as well. So it would seem that for them to become, at least from a consumer standpoint, it would be almost a no-brainer for them to embrace and be the big three now that all have their package because now they can do their package with their home and sell and everything, and that's how AT&T's business model has been doing great for them apparently.
Yeah, with AT&T, when you bundle the dish service with the phone and the home alarm or home security and all these other things, people end up with a somewhat of a better deal than what they would get if they were to buy each one individually. Not that big of a difference, but it's big enough for people to say, you know what, it makes sense, let me do it. And I think that was one of the strategies behind AT&T doing that, but I don't care about AT&T and their Death Star logo. What I want is for this merger to take place with Sprint and T-Mobile because one, it will save Sprint, who has almost as many subscribers as T-Mobile. So why not just save those subscribers and bring them on board to you instead of running the risk of losing the opportunity to seize all those subscribers by merging with Dish Network, which is failing, or Comcast, which is also one of the hugest companies, cash rich in the world.
True, and I don't really see Dish being too prevalent for too long with as many people looking to cut the cord, and I'm pretty sure Dish service is a little more expensive than common cable.
But Dish doesn't even have the channel base as DirecTV. Like their channels, they've lost a ton of channels. They've lost a lot of network deals. They're not the same Dish as when Dish was fun, when they had the Rabbit Box or whatever that thing was called. But
I mean, DVR also is people have access to on demand now, and that's changed the whole. And on demand through the internet has changed everything. Oh, yeah. The internet's destroying cable as we know it, and we don't have to tell you people that. You're probably looking over at your TV right now that's hooked up to a Kodi box that you bought from someone in a back alley, so you know about cutting the cord.
I'm really considering cutting the cord right now. It's really something going through my head. I'm debating because the only problem is, may not be a problem. It all depends. I'll tell you why in a minute. But the one thing that I did like about Dish TV back in the day, I'm sure they probably still do it. I don't know. The networks may have gotten mad, but their DVR box allowed you to skip right past the commercial. or like live. You could just skip the commercials while you're watching live TV. Boop, go right to the next segment of the show, and that was something I thought was cool. Or maybe I'm confused. Maybe the DVR box just allowed you, when it recorded, it didn't record commercials. I don't remember, but I thought you were able to skip commercials 100%.
I mean, I do remember that was a thing for a little while, but I don't remember how that could have worked with live TV. Obviously, because you can't.
No, it was a thing with live TV. It was a big funk. It was something I don't remember. I just thought about it while we were doing it, so I'm not going to do any research on it. But I know that it's
fair enough.
Something. I do know that because people are like, "What? How are they doing that?" Blah 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 blah. And that's because live TV isn't live TV. It's already recorded, and we're just getting
True. So yeah, I guess if you go down and go through process of elimination, it would seem in the best interest, and not to mention that T-Mobile they probably know wireless best, and trying to fracture the company like that would not be best. So I think that would be quite nice. Not to mention it opened up some pretty cool. For us tech guys, open up some pretty cool debates on what's going to happen with the network as far as merging both a CDMA and a GSM subscriber base, and what the devices are going to come from that.
Yeah, I'd say maybe after 2 years or 2 years into the merger, because the first year is going to be all the legal stuff, the hurdles and all that crap, and then officially they merge. I say into the second year, they probably let all the customers know as the new devices come out that they're just phasing out the CDMA part. That's the only thing I can see happening. Or they keep it for the Direct Connect feature, which works flawlessly, just like as if it was on the IDN network, like Nextel. But I don't know.
I'd like to see Mr. Leger try and bring back that in a way that Sprint hasn't, because no one even knows that's still a thing.
Yeah, I put it on all the phones, and not as an app. Just throw the dedicated button on the side of all the phones. But then some phones you can't do that because they don't look as good with those buttons on it. Like you wouldn't get an iPhone with the dedicated push to talk.
No, but you could certainly remap that Bixby button.
Yeah, possibly. Hopefully, maybe. Sammy.
A couple patches later.
The one thing that's keeping me from really cutting the cord is the fact that Comcast now has the data caps in my area. They brought them to my area now. So you go over 1 terabyte, then you're paying for it. So here in my community, AT&T within the next 2 weeks is about to do fiber straight to the home. So I'm thinking, I wonder how fast AT&T's fiber is, because I know Comcast's fiber is 2 gigabits. So I'm wondering if, even if AT&T's fiber is only 1 gigabit, and if it's cheaper than Comcast internet, then if their 1 gigabit service, if it's a gigabit, is cheaper than my entire Comcast package, yeah, I'll cut the cord and I'll get every TV in the house a box with unlimited programming.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, it would just come down to whether or not AT&T enforces the cap.
But when you have gigabit speeds, it shouldn't be a cap, because Comcast doesn't put a cap on the gigabit. It's the other tiers of service with the cap. But if you get the you can either pay another $30 a month for no cap, or you can get the gigabit service and there's no
Just
cap.
Out of curiosity, what's the price gap between would be going up to fiber?
Right now, it's I believe $500 a month for Comcast's 2 gigabit service. It's $1,000 down, and then it's $500 a month. It could be different, but I know that was the same price and same deal they had about 6 years ago when they launched their 105, their Extreme 105 megabit service. So when you're doing Extreme 105 and you're paying $300 to $500 a month, people are like, "Oh man, got to get it." But that price went down to normal pricing, and now the gigabit is introduced at that price point. But so in this area, Comcast has various speeds below 75 megs, but you have 75, and then you have 105, you have 150, and then you have the gigabit, which is 2.1 gigabits. I would like that. None of us has a computer that can actually use that much power or much speed, but I would like to have it.
I wish I could afford that. That's a car payment.
That is a car payment, car insurance, gas, lunch.
Yeah. And not McDonald's either.
No, man, eating that crap.
Well,
right. So tell me about these Galaxy S8.
The problems people are having with the S8s. Well, first things first, So, of course, right out the gate, there's always going to be a few problems, and now we have the internet, so everyone knows about the problems. It makes the problems from a 0.1% problem to make it seem like everyone has it. That's just my little mini rant about any new device that comes out. We talked about it before with the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, any new device. But the long story short is these devices are... The first problem noted was actually a red tint display, as in you could have a batch of 10 different Galaxy S8s, and there were notably different color tones on the default settings. Some were slightly rose tint, and some actually had a decently noticeable red tint.
Red tint, I saw that.
Mm-hmm. So now, obviously Samsung has sliders in the software where you can customize it. However, they're actually going to be updating them because those actually only are minute really differences. So they're now going to push a patch to where you can drastically change it and totally change the color hue. So that is going to be fixed, which I'm really surprised. But I guess it kind of makes sense when, the power of AMOLED screens and all that stuff. But now a new little issue has cropped up, and this doesn't surprise me in the least because me and you have talked about this before with Samsung being proprietary about their crap. Mm-hmm. And especially their quick charging, but people are having trouble using third-party wireless chargers. So they're saying that unless you have more specifically a recent, probably I think since the S7 wireless charger or wireless charger stand, that they will most likely not work. Or if you're using a third-party charging brick to power that Samsung wireless charger, it will not take. However, it will take Samsung's just fine. This, like I said, doesn't surprise me in the least bit because for a long time, Samsung wouldn't let you fast charge if you didn't have both their cable and power bricks. So this is just another Samsung to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
and we still don't have Bixby voice.
Is that going to stop you from getting an S8 that shipped with a digital assistant that was still technically not higher?
No, because these are issues that no one really cares about, and very few people use wireless charging. And the people that do most likely will buy a brand new one with it. And people don't use digital assistants anyway. People don't even know they exist.
So you don't feel like the charging woes or the red screen or not having a functional Bixby is going to affect a lot of people in their decision to make these purchases?
Absolutely not, because...
Of course not, Courtney. Have you seen their sales numbers?
Yeah, they've already trumped their last year's sales by 30%, pre-order sales.
Yeah, and they just officially came out, which is crazy.
Yeah, they didn't have they did have a quite extensive ad campaign because I do remember seeing ads on the TV. And it's kind of surprising after the Note 7, but then again, people are shallow. That's all I can really say. People are shallow and people don't know what they want. They see something new and flashy and they want it. They're not going to notice the red tint because unless you have something directly beside it to reference to that's exactly the same, it's always going to look a little different. People don't understand technology, so they probably will think that's a feature.
And it's funny because a lot of the people that are listening to this show probably totally understand where we're coming from, while others are like, why would you say that? That's not true. Well, yeah, when you're thinking about the average consumer who's always saying, oh, well, there's something wrong with my phone, my volume doesn't work, and you slide down from the top and you realize that they have their phone on silent, and you explain to them, or I'm not getting any of my messages. For some reason, I can't hear anything when people send me messages. It's just there and no sound. And then you slide down from the top and you see, oh, you have your phone on do not disturb. So yeah, for the average consumer, that's who that comment and some of these statements, most of our conversations are for the average consumer.
True. And obviously the astute people that already have a abundance of third-party wireless chargers, they're going to hate this. And I'm sorry for you. That's a Samsung. Well, they're not going to work. And if you love color accuracy, probably any phone you're going to have to adjust. So this isn't anything new for you. You've probably got this down to a T.
I love me some color.
I'm not going to touch that one anymore.
No, I don't. That's over black and white color. Yeah.
Hey, that's why Huawei puts a monochromatic and a color sensor on their phones. They don't give you a zoom. They just give you one that has no color and one that has color. Did you know that, actually?
No, actually, it's new.
Oh, yeah. And it's not just Huawei, but most notably, the new Huawei phones, they do have dual Leica sensors, but one is black and white and one has color. So they take they take a picture with both at the same time and combine them to get more detail and do some interesting effects with it. So that's quite cool.
Okay.
Quick tech for you.
All right, I can appreciate that. Thanks for a little education.
And speaking of the average consumer is about to be fooled again by some tech witchery, because the average consumer is going to think that they're going to have some 5G speeds. Do we have 5G speeds yet, sir?
No, we do not. None of the carriers offer 5G speeds. It's wrong that we're doing this all over again to the customers, or the companies are doing this to consumers all over again. A long time ago, when we were at 3.5G speeds, when we made those increases before the official 4G launch, they were like 4G over here, 4G over here. No, we got 4G. Look, it's 4G everywhere. No, it's 4G Fugazi is what it was. It's a bunch of crap. None of them had 4G, and they were lying and saying and misleading the consumers, having them think that one carrier had 4G over the next. And AT&T is doing it right now again with the 5G. It's not 5G, and it's only in Texas. So you mean to tell me in this entire country, AT&T, Ma Bell, Death Star, as large as you are, you only have 5G in Texas? Fuck out of here. No, it's
not to mention there's currently only one phone on their network that can do 5G,
which is
real 5G, which just came out.
And 5G, there's no standard for 5G yet, and it's really frustrating because it's wrong to say, just like when TVs were saying they're 4K or they're UHD 4K before they decided on a standard. They had to, okay, look, this is going to be the standard for 4K. So you can call it a 4K, a UHD, or 4K SUHD, as long as it has these baseline specs. Okay, now that whole mess was cleared up eventually, and I was on a tirade about that on social media for months, trying to get people to understand, don't buy that 4K TV because it's not really 4K. What's 4K? 10 times 1080p is 4K. So if you do that multiplication and you only getting 2.5 to 3 times 1080p, then that's not truly a 4K TV, and don't waste your money. So here we go again with AT&T's 5G network, which is really just 4G and a half or enhanced 4G LTE, because there's no standard for 5G, but there is a starting point where it's going to have to be a minimum of a consistent gigabit download speed for 5G. So that's the starting point. So if AT&T is launching in Texas 1 gigabit download speeds for the S8, and that's fine. They can call it 5G, and I'm not mad. But I know that's not what they're doing. That's not what they're doing. They do have double their current LTE speeds, but AT&T's LTE speeds suck anyway. You can go in places with T-Mobile and Sprint and get over 100 megs down, and these are just normal, regular, everyday urban areas, not super metropolitan mega structures metropolises. Yeah, this is not like going to New York City. No, over here you can, in West Palm Beach, you can get, or Jupiter, you can get 100 megs down, and these are just regular areas with regular people. Not, so if you don't understand what I'm saying, that's fine. I'm a little frustrated right now as I talk about this. It's not really frustration, maybe it is, but it's more passion, because it's wrong. And I have a fear that the other 3 carriers are going to follow in AT&T's footsteps in fear of losing subscribers, because they think that if they go to AT&T, they can actually get 5G. Do you really need it? No. What are you doing with it? Are you the same customers? You're like, oh, well, I only send text messages and emails on my phone. Then you don't need it. Oh, I only have this iPhone because it's, people think that if you have an iPhone, it looks really good. And I just make phone calls. I don't really use it. Oh, okay. You're one of those too. So, no, it's not good. Anyway, before I totally get off track.
People don't want to be stuck with yesterday's news.
I know, and that's the problem. People need to just chill out, because it's not really 5G. And whenever you leap without looking, whenever you just run and go and do something just because, you end up missing a few steps, or you miss something, or something bad happened, or you have buyer's remorse, or something else happens to you because you just had to have what no one else had, even if it was fake. I mean, you can go you can go and there's places you can walk right down the street, and you want some knockoff stuff, you can buy it. You don't have to worry about, it looks real, it smells real, but it's fake. The Galaxy S8 will support supposedly the 5G initiative when it comes out later this year. Who's going to launch it first? Who knows? Sprint, T-Mobile, Verizon, they're all working on their 5G. They're also working on their 4G enhanced as well. I know for a fact that T-Mobile and Sprint have both tested phones getting gigabit download speed. Verizon, I haven't seen any announcements. They're kind of hush-hush. Maybe they're kind of coming out with a smoking gun where they're pushing down 2 gigabits. I don't know. But Sprint, on the Sprint network, the Galaxy S8 is the only phone to support Sprint's newer speeds. They call it something, like a WP something, but it's enhanced 4G LTE. That Sprint's not misleading currently. They're not currently telling people it's 5G. They're like, no, it's our enhanced LTE. And you can get the increased speeds, which is still faster than AT&T's with the Galaxy S8. So AT&T, a message from all of the people out here: stop. Just be honest. Can you do that? You just had a lawsuit where you settled and you sent people checks for overbilling and false charges. So can you please stop with the false advertising? I'm done. You had anything you want to bring in? Sorry, I just totally took over that. I just
No. I like it. I like the passion. I can feel it. But you're absolutely right on everything, because at the end of the day, it's fueling consumers' fear, and it's fueling consumers' desire to have something that they don't even know what they're getting, and they don't even know they're getting the false product. So if they end up jumping on these early 5G networks, what's the thing is, they'll probably jump on the 5G network with a phone that doesn't even support it. Because if they're going to hop over thinking they're going to get 5G on an iPhone 7, you're sorely mistaken, because you have that Intel chip.
That's right. And that Intel is going to keep you at 3G speeds. No, I'm just kidding. But damn it, man. All right. So let's end this on a higher note, literally.
So what is Uber doing now? Some kind of crazy concoction you talking about?
So the devil company, Apple's cousin Uber, their next big venture is going to be flying taxis. They already started working on it. They plan on flying taxis. Little car-like planes that are more like drones for people. But they're flying taxis, and they're gonna pick people up, drop them off, pick them up, drop them off in dedicated areas. I don't have all the details on it, but I do know that it's supposed to come to us in 2020. So
they're gonna kind of run like a bus route now, where they can go between this spot to this spot, and they have these designated areas, and they know where they're going, and you're not gonna.
Yep, there's going to be permits and all type of air traffic control and traveling flight plans where they can and cannot go. It's going to be just like a bus route. You catch the A bus to connect with the B bus, to connect with the C bus to get to work, or whatever you're going to do. Or if you work in certain areas where you just need to go from A to B, and that's the fastest way to go, I would totally use it. I'm not going to lie. I would use one.
I mean, that sounds great.
As long as it is really... Because airplanes fly themselves anyway. The pilots don't really fly. And once they're in the air, that's it. They barely even land them now. So I don't know why they have... I think the pilots on a lot of these new planes, these new jetliners, I think their pilots are just for show at this point. I don't think they really fly like they used to. So as long as it's not some kid sitting in some office somewhere with a joystick in his hand and he's flying me around, I'm cool. If it's a computer flying me, navigating where I'm going and calculating everything super fast, I'm okay with that, because that guy flying me from 100 miles away in a room with a controller probably stayed up all night playing Mass Effect Andromeda, and I wouldn't want that. All right, 3 years from now, he probably wouldn't be playing Andromeda, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Same thing applies. So, I mean, that does make a lot of sense. We need to open up the air for travel, and I think that's a good first step. Yeah, obviously.
I think it's good especially for like the flying cars. I would like to have a flying car, not a car with wings. I want a car like the Jetsons, where I jump in a car and I can be maybe like 15, 20 feet off the ground, and to be able to go maneuver up and down, even I say 30 feet off the ground, and to be able to maneuver up and down. So if there's a traffic jam and I'm stuck in traffic, I just press my button, my car just transforms, and I'm floating in the air, and I just hover right over everybody. And then if I need to go over or under an overpass or a bridge, just go over or under that bridge. And I just keep on going about my way. No special pilot's license needed because I'm only 30 feet off the ground and it drives with the car steering wheel, and I'm just driving like normal. I'm not high enough to interfere with an airplane or a helicopter or anything like that.
Forgive using gamer terms. I can kind of just imagine just having like 3 tiers of elevation. Yeah. You have the first 2 tiers are mostly for the... you have your car and SUV, then you have your semis, and you have the third tier would be where you could flip the switch and you could, air-equipped vehicles could have that lane to themselves while still having to adhere to the rules of the road. Yep,
exactly, because you're not that far off the ground and you're not that high up in the air. Because there's no reason for a plane or a helicopter to be flying in that space, period. Also, there's more information coming out, more details. They're going to talk about it. They have this whole live keynote being streamed at their Elevate Summit, which is in Dallas, Texas. It's from tomorrow, or actually today, through the 27th. There's going to be a bunch of different presentations, a variety of speakers, and even some it's from Uber. So we'll see what they have to say, and hopefully we get some more information to share with you guys on Mission 11.
Well, hey, if that's a future driving, man, I can't wait to drive in the future, 5 years from now.
And I'm okay with that. They say, well, if you're going to have a self-driving car now, you still have to keep your eyes on the road and be attentive. Man, I'm taking a nap.
Eventually, we'll be at that point. Eventually.
We're getting really close. Put my back to the steering wheel, and I'm taking a nap.
I hear you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been real. Thank you so much. It's been 10 whole missions of us just ranting and doing all this crazy stuff and talking crap about AT&T and talking crap about who else have we talked crap about?
Sour Apple.
Apple, probably talk crap about Samsung.
Oh yeah, we talk about everybody, anybody. No one is off the table. Mm-hmm, no one's off limits. There's no restrictions, no hold bars. If Microsoft does something stupid, I'm gonna talk about them too.
In fact, you probably already have. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. It's been real. I'm Kyle.
I'm Courtney. We are your hosts for First Issue Tech. Big shout out to our friends over at Team Xbox. Give them guys some love. And we're out.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time.